Hello, today we will going to discuss the one more topic, that is organizational skill. That is nothing but when we are running an enterprise or any our business, the important point one has to consider is how you are going to organize your activity in an enterprise or your business. The way in which you are going to organize each and everything will going to lead you to have a success or to get a higher profit. So we will discuss about some of the organizational skills, which is very essential when you are going to take up a entrepreneurship. Now we will see what is organizational skill. In a simple term, we can say that organizational skills are the competencies that you can use to establish structure and others, structure and orders in your daily life. That is nothing but we can say that this is nothing but it helps you to work more efficiently, more effectively, such that you can able to achieve the results in a higher rate, or you can increase your productivity and the performance. See, this organizational skill main target is to get a higher returns out of your activity. To get a higher returns, you must work properly in a higher productivity and efficiently, effectively, such that it has to increase the result. This is what is the organizational skill. There are majorly the four components in an organizational skill. The first one is controlling, supervising, problem solving, monitoring, and evaluation. These are the four pillars of the organizational skill. Now we will see one by one. The first one is the controlling. As the name itself indicates, it is we are controlling the activities of our fellow workers. The controlling, the primary goal is to function. The controlling is very, very important for a manager in an organization to function in a very effective way. See, being a manager in an organization, they must have a very good controlling ability, which is called as a primitive function of a manager. So in a controlling, they used to compare the performance of an employee or a worker with the set standard of a company. And they ensures that this activity has to be performed according to the plans, and they should, if any problem is there, they will going to take some corrective measure or the corrective action to achieve the success or the target as per the decisions which has made or as per the standard set forth. So the controlling, the main activity is to see that the worker has to touch the standard which is put forth by the management or by the organization. When you are running an enterprise, being a head of an enterprise, you must have a proper controlling ability. See that your workers should use or they should perform very effectively, efficiently, such that they should able to perform according to the standard in a higher rate and to have a better result. See, what are the important features of controlling? The first one is it helps in achieving the organizational goal. We will going to put our target. What should be the target for your this year? Maybe in terms of production, maybe in terms of marketing, or maybe in terms of output. So this target or the goal has to be fulfilled. You have to have a better controlling. And the next one is to evaluate the accuracy of the standard. Whatever the standard we put forth is whether it is accurate to achieve, whether it is line with the ability of the worker, whether it is line with the requirement of the people, or whether it is in line with the raw materials available or the resources available with the enterprise. That will be the major function of controlling, to see that the accuracy of the standard. Next one is to motivate the employee or boost their moral or boosting their internal urge to do the work is through this controlling. And the next one is it also sets discipline and order. Controlling helps to keep the workers in a particular path. The discipline is nothing but a working in a particular path which leads to the success or to achieve the goal. And it ensures the future planning by revising the standards. For example, based on this year's experience, these controlling helps us to set forth the standard for the future that could be able to achieve very easily with the proper planning. and it improves the overall performance of an organization. When you are having a proper control over the employees, resources, working, target, everything, that in turn contributes in achieving the performance of an organization. When you are having a proper controlling, that leads to have a minimum errors or reduces the error in your activities in an organization. What are the process of controlling? There are four major steps involved in a controlling. The first one is to establish the standard. Next is to measure the actual performance according to the standard, comparing the actual performance with the standards and the corrective actions, if any is necessary, then we will going to take the feedback from them. And now we will see what are the process of controlling one by one. The first one is now we will see the process of controlling. The process of controlling, the first one is establishing the standards. Standards are nothing but a target. Whenever we are running an enterprise, there is a need to set forth a target for achievement. Without a target, your enterprise should not perform or cannot perform in a right path. Target is a path which is given for us to move and reach to that. So the establishment of standard is very essential in an enterprise. If you set forth a target, it needs to be achieved or to meet the organizational goals eventually. That standards usually indicate the criteria of your performance. Based on the performance, you will going to set forth the standards. And the next one is the quantitative standards. Standard may be expressed in terms of money or in terms of qualitative standards also. On the other hand, it is an intangible items. That standard you may put forth in terms of profit. A standard you may put forth in terms of your performance or human resource ability. That is also is very, very important. The standard may be put forth in both in a quantitative terms or in a qualitative terms. But usually when we set forth the target, usually it will be done in terms of the quantitative terms, that is in terms of profit or in terms of output or in terms of quantity to be marketed, that will be set as your goal. And the next is the measurement of actual performance. Here we are going to measure the actual performance of the organization or the employees with respect to the target or the standard which has been set forth. See, the better management or better controlling ability help us to perform in a right way, and that will going to help us to achieve the target as set forth. So the controlling play an important role to measure this, whether the people can able to achieve the goal which has been set forth by the organization. Is there any shortcomings? And we are going to compare the actual performance with the standard. That means what is the gap in performing the activities. For example, when the target is for 100 tons and you have achieved the 80 tons, the difference is the 20 tons. This is what we are comparing, the actual standard which is set forth by an organization or a business or an enterprise, and what has been actually achieved or the performed by the group of employees or by the enterprise. That gap is why. That for that there is the next step is taking the corrective action. Here the manager who used to correct this gap. What is the reason made them to have this gap? That corrective action will be done, or the defect will be solved, or the problem will be solved at this stage through this controlling to achieve the actual standard or the target which is set forth. And the next step there are different types of the controlling. The first one is the feedback controlling. The feedback controlling is nothing but here we are going to collect the feedback from our employees or from a managers or from a persons who are actually involved in a particular task about what is about their finished task, or assessing the information, how it could be improved in future. That means here the feedback is collected from the employees, what are the difficulties they come across and how it could be improved for the future, such that we can able to achieve the target. And the next one is the predictive or feed forward control. The predictive means before starting any production activities or before starting any activities, we will going to predict it. What are all the problems may come across during their process of production or the process of the manufacturing that may occur, and based on that they will going to take the corrective actions before that circumstances arises. And the third type of controlling is the concurrent controlling. The concurrent controlling is, it is called as a real-time controlling. That means when you start your production process, in a time-to-time basis, you may come across several problems. Maybe electricity problem, maybe raw material problem, or there may be a chance of the workers who are not performing, they may go for strike. These are all the problems they may come across during a time that will be checked on a real-time basis. As and when time comes, the corrective actions will be taken before it has been occurred. For example, now it is a pandemic and everybody knows that it is spreading like a very fast and everybody is suffering from that. What is the concurrent control? The concurrent control measure, what they have taken is the lockdown to stop the further spread of these diseases to the other population. This is what is called as a real-time control, which is very essential to achieve the performance in an effective way. Now we will see what are the advantages of controlling. This controlling helps us to save the time and energy and helps the manager to concentrate on important tasks rather than other activities. See, this controlling gives the manager an opportunity to prioritize his work, where he has to give more concentration on which task and where he can ignore. And it allows the better utilization of these managerial resources. Because as per this controlling policies, we can use that managers in a different activities. It helps in taking up the timely corrective actions by a manager for effective performance or to get a target achieved. And manager can delegate a task so routine course can be completed by the subordinates. This controlling helps a manager to give a target for each and every worker. That means he can delegate the activities to each and every member in a group such that it has to be completed by a subordinate in a given period of time. And now the next aspects of a good management or organizational skill is the supervision. The name supervision or the word supervision is derived from a Latin word that means the two word super means from the above, vision means seeing. That is, monitoring from the above is nothing but a supervision in a common sense. So in ordinary sense, the term supervision means observing the activities of others, how we are going to supervise the activities of others, whether they are doing it in a proper way and they can able to complete the target in a given time. That is what is the supervision. So the supervision refers to an act by which a person inspects or supervise the work of other people, that is whether they are working properly or not. Usually this will happen in a house when a mother supervises their children, whether they are studying or not, whether they have completed homework or not, everything. It is nothing but a supervision. We will put one eyes on them, whether they are doing it in time, in a proper way, in a proper line. Now we will see what are the important functions of supervision. The first one is it helps to develop their innate qualities to improve their performance. When there is a supervision, the performance will automatically improve. For example, the children, if you leave them free, they won't study. If you sit and supervise, they will complete the task in a given period of time. That is what it improves their performance by through this supervision. And it makes the worker very loyal towards their organization. With the proper supervision, they used to have a loyalty towards the organization and they will complete the task which is given to them. And it provides the expertise, the skills, knowledge, and experience to make your workers learn without fear and hesitation. When there is a supervision, if any mistake is there or if any problem is there, they can approach the supervisor and get the problem solved rather than managing themselves. This gives them a confidence in them, and they will go on work without any hesitation and a fear. And it develops the employee's potentiality, where they can work without a supervision. When a continuous supervision, for example, we used to supervise only the young children, maybe from primary school, high school. Once they reach to the college, the supervision will get over, because they are accustomed to that, and without any supervision, they will going to do the work to their higher potentiality. It provides a good link between a management and a worker. A good supervision helps in establishing a proper linkage between a management and a worker, such that they can interact and the rapport could be developed. And this supervision helps to solve the personal problems and their subordinates to the extent possible. For example, if a supervisor is there, one worker is not feeling well, he is having some health issues, that can be solved in a particular way, and for that place another person can be put and he can be given rest. If you do all these things, there the personal relationship will improve and they will become very loyal to the organization. And this supervision also helps us to maintain the discipline and encourages for the good communication. And some of the other functions of the supervision are, it explores the new field of knowledge. Whenever you are supervising the things and carrying out the work, and that experience makes you to understand or get the higher level of knowledge, how a work could be done in a different way and a more efficient way. And it introduces new, useful, and scientific method of production and administration. The supervision helps to move the production process or the work in an organization in a scientific way, useful way, in a path which is given. That means supervisor means we are taking them in a right path. If you move away from the path, we are bringing them in line and doing it in a proper way in real time or in at a time. And a clear understanding about his or her plan of action. The supervision will help us to understand what the action a worker want to do or what the manager want to do according to this. If you are in a different place, if you are not supervising that work, what actually they want to do will not be having any impact on you, and you may misunderstand and there may be a miscommunication among yourselves. And this supervision helps us to divide the responsibilities and duties among their subordinates, such that they can work equally and rational work and scientific work could be achieved. See, if you are giving a too much overload to a one person, and if there is no one work for other person, then the efficiency of an organization or output will going to reduce. This supervision will help us in dividing the work among the people in a rational way. To whom it has to be given, how much work has to be given will be decided based on this supervision. And always the supervision helps in look for the grievances, what they are having. The subordinates may be facing lot of problem with the machines. They are facing lot of problem with performing certain activities. These grievances are maybe internal grievances may be there. That could be managed or solved through this supervision. And it helps in delegating the authority, and this authority, the delegation helps to win the heart or the confidence of the people. When you are with them, they will be confident to do the work. Now, there are different methods of supervision. We will see one by one. First one is the personal contact. That means here you are going to personally observe the work of employees and analyze their problem and correct them and explain better method of working that. That means here one-to-one, face-to-face supervision. You will go to a worker, see that what he is doing, where it is a mistake, how it has to be done better way, so that he can do it the work in a better way. And the next one is the correspondence. The correspondence means here higher authority or the supervisor will go into contact the employees through the correspondence. That means they will mail a letter, write a letter with certain instruction, and the reply will be received in terms of letters only. What we used to use in a government departments or in administration, the orders will be gone, and the delegation of the duties or the distribution of the duties among the sub employees. And the same way, after completion, they will going to give it in a writing form. If they won't give do also, that will be written in a written form only, or given answer in a written form only. And the next one is the reports. That means the workers will prepare a periodic reports, that is weekly, monthly, or annual progress report of their performance, and send them to a head office. The supervisor will go through all those reports which is sent by the employees, and they will going to evaluate this and recommend for the promotion or a hike in a salary. That is nothing but based on your performance. You will going to prepare a report, maybe monthly progress report, weekly progress report, yearly progress report. What and all you have contributed for your organization or the enterprise will be mentioned in that progress report, and the supervisor or your higher authority will look into all those reports, and they'll see, and based on that there may be a chance of rewarding you in terms of hiking salary or by promoting you to a higher position. And then now in the present day, the supervision will be done through telecommunication. That means harnessing the information technology they are using to supervise the work through telephone or maybe through mail or conducting video conferencing, voicemail, conference calls, etc. These are used to evaluate the workers, whether they are moving in a right path or performing your work in a right direction. What are the characteristics of a supervisor? The first thing is a supervisor must have a better interactive communication skill. That means interpersonal communication skills should be very high. When you are having a very good communication skill, that helps you to develop a rapport, that help you to avoid the problem and negotiate the problem very efficiently. And the next one is to ability to delegate. Being a supervisor, you must have an ability to delegate the work to your subordinates. If you could not delegate your work to subordinate, rather than you are escaping from that, then you cannot become a supervisor. Delegating power is delegating the work is nothing but distributing the work among the employees based on their ability and in rational way without any partiality, and getting the work done from them through that is the ability of a supervisor. And the next one is passion for the company. Being a supervisor, they always have a passion for company. That means love for company, commitment for the company. Based on that only, they will going to do the work to the honest and get the workers also be honest towards the company and done the work within a given time. And there should be an open book whenever possible. Open book means they should be free for employees to say their grievances, tell their personal problems and solve their problems, and you must be interact with them to solve their personal problems. For example, if their wife is not feeling well, you should be in a position to suggest that which is the good hospital they can go, what are the facilities available from the organization to take care of that. For education, if they want, the employees want to about the information about higher education for their children also, they should suggest. Means they should be like a open book, whatever asked, with maybe not related with the enterprise or a business, maybe a personal, maybe on financial, which is away from their field, they should be ready to answer it or give information to them whenever it is required. Now we will see what, and the next one is empathy and compassion. See, being a supervisor, I must be empathetic and I must be compassionate with my subordinates. If I'm compassionate and empathetic, I can able to understand the position of my subordinates or the workers, and I can help them to do the work in a better way, or in a become a friend, I can delegate the work. And always flexible when possible. Don't be so rigid in getting the target or giving the target, getting the work done from them. Be flexible based on the resources available, based on the personal problem they are having, and give them an opportunity to carry out. If you are flexible, whenever possible, they will be having very trust towards you. Next time, if you delegate any power, they're going to perform that work within a given period of time. So don't be too rigid, be flexible whenever it is required. And a display of confidence. That means you must always feel a confidence among the employees along with yourself. Be confident and motivate other workers who are working in your organization such that they can able to achieve the standard set forth. And always have a positive attitude towards a worker, towards a company, or towards yourself. Being a supervisor, I must be positive about myself. I must be positive about my worker. Don't think that what a type of worker these are. They won't do work. Simply I'm shouting every day and every time. They won't do anything. That should not be there in your mind. Have a positive attitude. Think that no, they will perform. I will motivate them to do it. That is what should be there in your mind. And along with that, you must be having a positivity towards your organization or an enterprise to which you are working. Don't blame that. Don't blame all those things. Once the negativity comes, you cannot come out with the new skills and the measures to carry out the work and get the work done from the other employees. And a dose of humility. Humility is nothing but the care for others. As a manager, you must be human being, humanitative. If a person is telling that today I'm having fever, I cannot do work, or I want half an hour rest, and then afterwards I want to do work, don't be so rigid. Don't tell like that. Half an hour, I cannot. I will cut your salary. It should not be there. Okay, if you are not feeling well, take not half an hour, 1 hour rest, come back and do the work. That should be there as a supervisor. This is are the some of the, I have covered here the two important organization skill. One is the controlling and another one is the supervision. These two are very, very essential for a manager who is in an enterprise or running a business. He has to organize each and everything. He must have a proper control over the employees and the work, and he must supervise each and every work in an organization to have a higher returns and to achieve the goal set forth. Thank you. I hope you have got the point.